This is going to be a quick tutorial on how to get your files set up in Mastercam to transfer them over to the CNC router. Okay, first of all, I found a JPEG on the internet. I believe that was actually a line drawing. But I found a picture on the internet. I brought it into Adobe Illustrator. I did an object, live trace, and then make. And then I had to expand it after I made it. So I'd probably make and expand would be the best thing to do. After I did that, I did a file, save as, and I made sure that I saved it as an EPS. So after I saved it as an EPS, it was on my desktop right here, so now I've got my EPS. So I went from a JPEG to an EPS. Then from my EPS, I went to the internet to cloud convert, and I converted my EPS to a DXF. So I basically clicked the button right here, and it asked do I want to convert it. I said yes, and then I downloaded it, and then it was right here, and I took it and put it on my desktop. So that's what you have to do. You have to take a picture, do a live trace, and get into an EPS in Illustrator, and then you have to do it through DXF. After you have it at your DXF, then you're going to go into Mastercam, and you're going to do a file, open, and you should just be able to find it on your desktop. If you can't find it on your desktop, you're just going to have to find some DXF type files. It's going to pop up. You're going to click open, and then it's going to go into your screen. You're going to zoom out a little bit, zoom back in, and now you have your file you can work with. Now that you have your file you can work with, you're going to start choosing your machine and your tool paths. So you're going to go and click, and we're going to be using a router. In the lab, it's going to actually specify a router that's preset. We're just going to use a default because I'm not in the lab right now. So we use a default, all of our options show up over here. First thing we're going to do is go into properties, and we're going to click on stock setup. And we're going to make sure that it's the right size. Our tabletop, or our end tabletop, is going to be 18 inches by 18 inches in your X and Y, and it's going to be 0.75 thick. We're also going to set this 0, 0 to the corner, the top corner, and then we're going to make sure we display our workpiece over here in a wireframe, and we'll fit it to the screen. And then we'll click the checkbox. Now what you see is that Bucky Badger of the Wisconsin Badgers is down in the corner. What we're going to have to do now is scale them. So we're going to go to X form, and we're moving into our scaling. You go to here, go to scale. It's going to ask you to select your entity. So we're going to make a box around Bucky Badger, and we're going to click, and then we're going to hit enter on our keyboard. We're going to go over here and make sure we click on move, because we don't want to copy it, and then we're going to scale it up by a factor of 4 because it's pretty small. We want to fill that 18 inches. Click on the X, it will scale up, as you see. We'll zoom back out again so we can see what's going on. Now we still have a problem, it's not in the center. So we're going to take it, we're going to move it in the center. So we're going to go X form, translate, which is move. We're going to make a box around Bucky Badger. We are going to take him and hit enter. We're going to go over and make sure we do a move, not a copy. From and to. I'm going to click on this little center point right here and bring him up and over. And he's pretty much in the center. We want him to go down a little bit. So on our Y, instead of 2.05, we'll do 1.8. And then we'll click out here to see what that does. Let's try 1.5. Click out here to see what that does. That moves him nicely into the center. So we're going to click on the X. We've got him in the center now. There's also this box around here that I don't want, so I should just be able to click and make sure that I delete all that. So just click on these lines. You can delete stuff and clean it up before you set your tool path and bring it into Inventor. So we're cleaning stuff up a little bit. You most likely won't have to do that on yours because I'll have some preset DXFs for you. But if we decide to take something off the internet and bring it through Illustrator, then we're going to have to clean it up like you see right here. So we got Bucky Badger cleaned up. Now we're going to set our tool path. We're going to use a contour that seems to work the best. And then we'll just name them Bucky. Click X. We're selecting the chain. I used to think that you had to select all the individual chains. You can just click on window, and you can make a window around him, and click. That's going to take a little bit of time. And then we're going to set our approximate start point kind of near the closest to the starting point where our tool is going to start on 0, 0, so it has less spots to travel and less stuff that can go wrong. So we're going to set that right there. And then when it gets selected, we're going to click on the checkbox. And it's basically going to come up with a bunch of options. Remember, we have contour chosen. We're going to leave it on contour. We're going to go to tool. We're always going to try to pick a 1/8 inch straight bit as far as the CNC router goes. So we're going to go to select library tool. We're going to just click on tools because it filters them a little bit more, and then we're going to try to find our straight bits. And sometimes it's a pain to find stuff, but we do a straight bit, and we're doing a 1/8 inch straight bit because we got a V cutter on there, and how far we're going to sink it's going to be about 1/8 of an inch into the wood. So we're going to go 1/8 inch straight bit. Check that. Now we have our 1/8 inch straight bit, 0.125. That's what we want. Next, we're going to go to holder. We're going to leave that. We're going to go to cut parameters. We're just going to turn it off so it's right in the center. It's not going left or right. No compensation. Depth cuts, leave that. Lead in, lead out. We're going to turn that off. Breakthrough, we're going to leave that off. Multi-passes, we're going to leave that off. Tabs, leave that off. Linking parameters, everything's going to be absolute. Absolute means that everything goes off of 0, 0. Incremental means that you add to it and it could move all the way across the table and just keep it moving wherever you wouldn't even know. But everything's relative to 0, 0. So you click absolute on everything. And then on depth, this is where I always mess up. You want to make sure you put a negative because you're going off the top of your stock. So you want to put a negative 0.125, and then we'll use a piece of paper underneath our cutter to set that. So we're going to click on the checkbox, and then you can see our tool path is set right here. The last thing we want to do before we bring this into, before we make our code, is we want to verify it. So we're going to go over here. I'm going to click on black backplot, selected operation. Make sure you click this little display tool button, and then we'll go up and we'll make it into an isometric view. So we can actually see what's going on. Here's our little tool, and then we'll press play. So we see that it's tracing our object very nicely, exactly what I expected it to do. I'm just going to trace the whole object. You still can't see how much it's cutting into the object. So after we've verified it, yes, it's cutting everything out. We're going to go to the next step, and we are going to click on the one right next to it, which just says verified selected operations. That will process your actual NCI data, and what that is going to do is it's going to give you what's actually cutting. So you see the yellow, you can see how far it's indenting this at 0.125. It's going to go around and cut everything. And this should be how it cuts on the board. You're going to have to take that cutter head and actually set your 0, 0, 0 point right on this edge right here, and make sure you can slide a piece of paper and grab a little bit underneath there, and you should be good. So basically we have our file, we have all our code. I can't post it in here because this is the home learning edition, but if you were going to post it, you'd click on G1. Gives me this, I can't do it, but in the regular Mastercam you can go do it. You click on G1, what posting it is sending all the information to basically WinCNC, and then through WinCNC you're just going to basically do a couple more operations and then it'll be set to go.